excited to have you join us. SEDAT HR Conference is going to be a transformative experience. We'll have various speakers who will be sharing on various topics to ensure that we bridge the gap, creating a workplace where everyone feels heard, valued, and supported. See you at the conference hall.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. We welcome you to today's session on HR Digest. And today we are going to talk about a very important topic. And it is not just for HR professionals, right? It is for everybody who is ready to succeed in the world of work today. So welcome. If wherever you're joining us from, please put it in the comment section because we want to know where you're joining us from. We want to acknowledge you as well. So welcome, and then put it in the chat box for us. We want to acknowledge you. Wherever you're joining us from, please put it in the chat box so that we can acknowledge you. So once again, you are welcome. Please share the link to your friends, to your colleagues, to your family, to anybody that you want to also learn, from us as we share knowledge together this afternoon. So please share the link for us as we wait for our people to join. Welcome once again. Our guest speaker is already on. She's ready for us, right? So I'm seeing some people join. Okay, so I'm seeing a couple of people join, but please, we want to know that you are here with us, okay? Because of technology, sometimes it will get a bit lonely, right? But if you write in a comment, I will know that I'm not here in the room alone. So please put it in the comment section so that we can acknowledge you. Thank you. Okay, so as we wait for our people, I would want to share one or two things. So there's a conference that will be coming on, the Kumasi Edition, of course. So that's the SEDAT HR Conference, Kumasi Edition 2025. We will talk about it more as we go on. So if you are joining us, just put it in mind that we have a very big conference coming on. So don't be left out. So like I said, our session today is another, as you all know, even before that, you know that every Sunday at 4 p.m., we meet to discuss relevant topics that will help us as professionals. I'm not going to say HR professionals because it is not only HRs that need the knowledge, right? We all need it. And so every Sunday at 4 to 5 p.m., just 1 hour, we meet together with industry experts, professionals on relevant topics that will help us as individuals to thrive and to succeed in our areas, in our careers, in our workplaces, you know. So every Sunday we meet, and it is very important for you to join us, just like today. But for today's topic, we are going to talk about cross-cultural competence in HR, cross-cultural competence in human resource as an HR. And because there's a lot going on, right, in our global village, of course the world is a global village, right, and a lot is going on. So as an HR, how do you succeed in the field of work? It is not like we used to know before. Okay, the workplace has changed. As it has changed, it keeps evolving. Now as an HR, are you evolving? That is a question that we all need to answer for ourselves. And of course, that is why we have met this afternoon to talk about a topic named cross-cultural competence in HR. Cross-cultural competence in HR. And today I'm not just doing it alone, I'm doing it with our guest. And I'm going to keep the name until I see people put in the comment section. I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to tell you guys who we have. If you've seen the flyer, that's fine. But I'm still not seeing some comments, so I will not allow our guests to start talking until I see that I'm not here alone. Because, like I said, I want to acknowledge you, right? Okay, so I'm seeing some people join. Please put in the comment section. I want to acknowledge you. Really, I really want to acknowledge you. So put in your name and where you're joining us from. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, so like I said, our topic is cross-cultural competence in human resource. And I will be doing that with Shamim Walasimbi. Shamim Walasimbi. And Shamim is a talent strategist currently serving in the African HR Confederation Board, where she champions advocacy, diversity, and inclusion under her tagline, Leave No One Behind. Leave no one behind. She is an award-winning HR. She has led transformative people initiatives across Africa. She has spoken on global HR forums and advanced in HR advocacy through policy work and professional development. She is passionate about mentorship. She empowers women, future leaders, through programs like Girls for Girls, the Purpose-Led program, and the Ethiopia Thrive mentorship program. And this person is Shamim Balasimbi. Shamim, if you are here, please let's hear from you. If you can hear me, please let's hear from you. Welcome, welcome, Shamim.
Thank you so much, Mary. Yes, I'm here, I'm live, and I'm so excited to carry on this conversation. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Okay, so like I said, today we are going to talk about cross-cultural competence in human resource. But as an aspect, that we all look up to in our area, which is human resource. What is the first thing that you would say if we talk about culture? right? So culture at the workplace. What is one of the things that will come to mind when we talk about culture?
Thank you very much, Mary. And as we all know, once as we're going forward in this increasingly interconnected, diverse world, culture is the root to all the decisions that we have to make, not only in the organization, but in the communities that we are living in. Cultural competence is not only a strategic advantage in organizations, it is becoming increasingly a necessity. So, when we talk about fostering a culture of workplace equity, inclusion, we would like to ensure that all persons within the organization have the right values that include diversity, inclusion of persons from multiple backgrounds, even persons with disabilities, those who are usually excluded from opportunities, and leveraging the strength of all employees in the organization and beyond. If we can focus on that, rest assured organizations can unlock their full potential. So, as we carry on this discussion, let's all put it in our minds and our hearts to commit to building workplaces where everybody feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute to their best. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you so much. So, to our audience, I hope you heard. She said a workplace where everyone is valued, right? So, Shamim, because of how the world is evolving, right? So why has it become increasingly critical in today's global workforce? You know, when we talk about cross-cultural competence, why is it important in today's global workforce?
Well, it is extremely important because when we're speaking global, we understand that there are no boundaries. We have organizations that have embraced remote working opportunities for all, and that comes along with understanding how best can get the right value, the right amount of value from the people that I'm interacting with. So, if we're looking at inclusivity and enhancing collaboration amongst people, we would have to look deeper into the practices that we are trying to enforce within the organization. One, you have to consider the policies that are in place. Do you have the relevant policies to ensure that people across the world, as long as they are have sharing the same vision and mission as yourself, how best can you ensure that you have the effective backgrounds as well as the information that they all carry, the strengths as well as their weaknesses that you can leverage on, and ensuring that all the various backgrounds are considered in the policy frameworks. This helps organizations leverage diversity as a strength because once you have that at the top of your mind, you reduce misunderstandings in the organization, you build a more cohesive and more productive work environment. So once we have all that in place, the bare minimum is to ensure that the policies are transparent and inclusive enough for all. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Shamim. So, to our audience, I hope you heard her right. So, it is always about the policies. Okay. So, as an HR professional in the workplace, policies are very important. Policies that work for people from diverse backgrounds, right? So, Shamim, I'm going to ask a follow up question, right? Which is going to be my second question, of course. So, when employees from different cultural backgrounds join an organization, which is happening now, okay, what are some of the strategies that an HR professional can adopt to promote smooth integration in the workplace?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Mary. So I want you to put yourself in a picture of the employee. Imagine you have gotten this offer letter you have started work, it's your very first day. One thing that we as human resource professionals know is that if you handle the onboarding process right, the employee comes in with a growth mindset. They know that this is a place that's considered as their home for the next few years, depending on how long they will stay in the organization. But culture onboarding programs could be the very beginning in terms of the order that we can follow to ensure that an employee feels welcomed. If we have onboarding programs that introduce the new employees to the organization, including a few aspects of their culture, acknowledging their backgrounds. I'll give an example. I have traveled to Ghana multiple times, and one thing that really I'm admired is the fact that you have your names according to the day that you were born. So I, for one, was born on a Saturday. So every time I'm in Ghana, they all call me Ama Shamim, Ama Shamim. It's because I want to integrate into the culture, make sure that they understand that we are here for a shared mission, a shared vision, and once you speak in the same language, get to know even how they greet, how you say thank you in another language. So during the onboarding programs, once you incorporate the cultural values, surely the employee is set for a very smooth integration. Then when we speak about training, it is indeed important to include diversity and inclusion training as part of your training plan. Once you focus on sessions that promote cultural awareness, help them understand unconscious bias, because we all come with our own inborn biases. Someone might believe, okay, if it's about skin color, persons with lighter skins are considered as more popular and able to support and achieve whatever task you give them better. Or if you see a person who has an impairment, let's say a physical impairment, they put them on as part of your team, and the first thing you think is, oh my god, my program is going to be distracted. We won't be able to achieve the goal because this and this has happened, this and this kind of person is in my team. So all those are unconscious biases that we have, and once we come in to create awareness about that through training, we will understand that this is just an assumption that we might have at the top of our minds, but in reality, everyone comes in with their unique strengths as well as their challenges, which can still be respected and addressed accordingly. So I could also speak about the mentorship programs that could support, especially if we use peer-to-peer mentorship. One thing that I have practiced personally and I've leveraged on is pairing employees, seeing to them that they have accountability partners amongst them. Because once they see that I have a colleague who is probably more stronger in a particular area, I can leverage on my connection or relationship with them to gain more knowledge, more insight in that area. So over time, you'll see persons with diverse backgrounds being connected together, and they get mentors within the organization, even beyond the organization, who can guide them through understanding how can I best integrate into this organizational culture, how best can I be supported, and how best can I provide support to another person. Most organizations also leverage on team building activities, and I know this is a very controversial topic because at times you go through the entire year, and part of the plan is to have a team building session. You send your employees maybe to the beach or to a hotel way across the town, and they go through various exercises and activities that encourage them to be in high spirits. But when they go back to the office, the underlying challenges still exist. The biases, the fact that they are unable to work together. So, what I propose is during team building activities, incorporate the aspect of looking through the organization vision and mission just to ensure that these employees are deeply rooted in the common objective that you are all striving to achieve. That way, team building activities can actually add value to what you're looking out for in terms of culture integration. And maybe before I hand back to you, it is also important to have open feedback channels in organizations. I know at times we as human resource professionals or leaders in general find it daunting to always get complaints because this is the reality. In organizations, you are bound to get more complaints than compliments. However, there's no way around it. They always say that once you have feedback, you have an opportunity, a baseline through which you can improve your service offering, understand what are the challenges, and establish open channels, transparent channels for feedback and dialogue. This gives employees a chance to voice out their concerns, especially if they are related to cultural perspectives that may impact on their work and performance. Thank you very much, Mary.
Thank you so, so much. That was awesome. Thank you. You've done justice to our question. To our audience, please, if you have any question, if you have any contribution, any comment, you can put it in the chat box and we would read it out for our guests to answer that. So thank you, Shamim, for that. That was amazing. Okay, so since our audience are not bringing in the question, I have another question for you. So, how can leaders and managers be trained to develop cultural intelligence, right? So, there's culture, there's intelligence. How can we, as leaders and managers, develop cultural intelligence and adapt to leadership styles across diverse teams?
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. And indeed, when you understand that there's an intelligence, there's a process to understanding how to integrate cultures, you will be more aware that there are trainings that are curated to this. There are training programs that enable employees to understand the cultural dimensions around the persons that they are working with. It also helps them to develop even more empathy for the people that they're working with, the various situations. We have examples of persons who are expecting, pregnant women, or parents who have just gotten children. And this applies to both men and ladies, or people who are going through challenges within their private settings. Once you understand that all the aspects around cultural intelligence are deeply rooted in understanding and developing the sense of empathy, then you would understand how best to practice active listening, adapt the various leadership styles to address these cultural contexts. And next, I could speak about culture coaching because this is even deeper because coaching sessions are enable leaders to develop the solutions by themselves. You understand that you have a problem, a challenge, so you go through this coaching. Usually it is a one-on-one session which enables you to recognize your own cultural biases, understand the strategies that you need to employ to lead diverse teams effectively and efficiently. So once you have this exposure, you're working with diverse teams, and when we're working on global platforms, it is actually intentional to have that count. How diverse is my team? How can I learn how to integrate the various cultures, the various mindsets? And you can also consider job rotations.
Okay.
If my team is full of people from Africa, how best can I rotate to ensure that even the European employees are included in my team at a certain point in time? Can I put international assignments and associate them with the various people so that they can go practically and physically into the other culture to embrace it from a different perspective and to gain first-hand experience in these dynamics. So once you include all those aspects and you get feedback, recognize those who are actually living the values and putting these leadership practices into reality, then you can embed all this, and eventually the level of cultural intelligence will keep going on the rise. Thank you very much.
Thank you too, Shamim. That was amazing. So because we have a lot of people from different backgrounds, different understanding to things, it is very likely for conflict to arise in the workplace, right? So, in cases where there's cultural misunderstanding, and because of this cultural misunderstanding, there's some sort of conflict in the workplace. Okay, how would you, or as a nature, what role will you play in resolving the conflict? Because yes, my understanding is different from yours, and because of that, there's conflict here and there in the workplace. So, me as an HR professional, or to anybody listening to us, what role would you play in the steps to resolving the conflict?
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. And I'll start with a challenge that many of us as leaders face within the organization. As human resource professionals, we seem to be torn apart. We have to be the neutral force between the senior management and the employees. So, when cultural misunderstandings come into play, it seems that we are usually stretched by the conflict itself. But one thing that we can do to play a proactive and neutral role in resolving conflicts is understanding that your role is to be a mediator. One
Okay.
thing that many professionals have practiced within the workplace is to avoid hearing things in the corridors, rumors. At times, you might have a whistleblower sharing information, and you can't confirm or validate the authenticity of this information. So, if the policies allow and if it's possible, you would want to come in as a neutral party and facilitate an open, respectful dialogue amongst the different parties that are involved. That way, we are seated on a round table. You get the perspective of the affected. You also get the perspective of the person who is being reported and understand the various perspectives around it. However, in the event that you have a whistleblowing policy that does not allow that, you could have an external resource, a consultant, independent consultant, to come in and understand based on the dialogue with the various people and confirm the authenticity using data driven decisions and ensure that all in all, the mediation can still take place based on the evidence that is available. You could also consider culture awareness. Once we have insights into the various cultural differences that might be contributing to the conflicts within the workplace, so at times it's just a matter of suggesting reasons why you can meet each other halfway. I'll give a sensitive uh, example of organizations that are reluctant to recruit people with various religious backgrounds. Some of the people that are affected are the Muslims because they have to break at least twice within the day for prayers or go out of the office for the prayers on Friday, or Seventh day Adventists. They do have to consider Saturday as a holy day of prayer, but some organizations have it as a work day. So just to prevent the biases that come around that, most organizations have looked at it as a productivity format in order to see if I give you the goals, if I give you targets, are you meeting them regardless of the number of breaks that you have within the day? If the person I'm working with is a morning person, perhaps due to their faith or due to their beliefs, they have to spend the entire night in prayer. What can I do to ensure that, yes, I might not have the person starting at the required time? However, can I ensure that the targets that I'm giving them are met? So that's all around culture awareness. However, to be on the safe side, it's as I mentioned at the beginning of this conversation, policy is everything. If we if we can embed all these understandings as well as the discussions, but put them in writing, that way we can develop policies within the workplace that actually contribute to the cultural sensitivities that could potentially bring conflicts. And maybe in conclusion, training and development, even when we have policies in place, even when we have dialogues, having regular awareness programs, either toolboxes or training sessions, the programs that can support in conflict resolution, creating the awareness that they need to prevent future misunderstandings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shamim. So, to our audience, I hope you heard her right. Let me summarize everything in case you joined us, as she was talking. So, we asked about how, as a leader, as an HR professional, or as a manager, how you are going to deal with um, conflict as a result of cultural differences or cultural misunderstanding. And as students always do, so there's an acronym with all the things that she mentioned. I have done an acronym for all of you to be able to remember, right? So the first, it's MCPT, right? The M represents mediation. So she said, bring both parties to the table for a discussion where you get to understand what the problem is. And at the same table, you'll be able to find solutions, even when it is it goes over. You can bring in a third party who can come and sit in to mediate and find solution to the problem or try to resolve the conflict. And then the C is cultural awareness. As much as you are in the workplace, you need to understand people, you need to understand everybody's culture, right? So you need to have some sort of cultural awareness. And then the P is policy. She mentioned it earlier. She said, as a leader, as an HR professional, you cannot do away with policy, right? So that stands for the P. And then the last one, which is the T, is training and development. Training and development. So even if you didn't hear anything at all, go with MCPT. MCPT, mediation, culture awareness, policy, and training and development. Thank you so much, Shamim. It was so good. That was amazing. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I've written down a lot, I've also learned a lot. So thank you so much. Before we continue, our audience, if you have any question, please put it in the chat box, put it in the comment section, and we would read it for our guests to help us answer. But before we continue, okay, there are some few things that we would want to share with you. So the first one is the conference that I mentioned earlier. So we have the SEDAT HR Conference, which will be happening in Kumasi. So the date is 30th October 2025. Thursday, 30th October 2025. So that is the HR Conference, Kumasi Edition 2025. And the host is Patricia Abna Kisi. We have amazing people like Meshach Boa, we have Senor Ajaben, we have Emilia Ose, and of course, our keynote speaker, Nuhu Salifu. Mr. Nuhu Salifu, who is the Vice President of West Africa Sandbank. So we would want you to register. Trust us, not just trust me, right? Trust us. Do not miss this, because for every second that you will spend in this conference, you are not going to leave the same. You are not going to leave the same. So register, put it in your calendar, everything. Make sure you just do not forget to attend this conference. All right. So 30th October 2025, and it's a Thursday. The time is 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Okay, so the registration in person is 620 Ghana cedis, and of course, because we do not want you to be left out, we have a virtual option for you as well, so that you don't tell us, oh, okay, I'm in Accra, I'm not in Ghana. I mean, where, we don't want to hear that, right? So we have a virtual option, which is 520. So as you can see, the flyer, all registration details are on it. We would want to see you on Thursday, 30th October 2025. Now, aside the conference, we have an HR data mastery training. It is just a one-day workshop, right? That, and our facilitator, okay, is Paul Opoku Nkrumah. Paul Opoku Nkrumah, and this is a one-day workshop tailored for HR professionals, IT managers, and business leaders who aim to leverage technology for efficient HR operations. Okay, so now there's technology all around us. You can't do without it, right? Even if you do without it, we are going to leave you behind. And if you don't want to be left behind, that is why you need to attend this workshop. So per head or per person is 1,500 Ghana cedis, and it's inclusive of everything. Okay, your certificate, your lunch, your slide, everything. Okay, everything you need for this particular training is embedded in the 1,500 Ghana cedis. So it's per head. If you are a business owner, if you're a leader, please try and register for your people, because trust us, this one-day workshop, they are going to come back with all the ideas they need to help them in everything that they do in your workplace or in their offices, right? So thank you very much. Now, we also have some services that SEDAT Consult also do. And the first one, we have some sort of HR support services, advisory, outsourcing, anything that you need from us or from SEDAT Consult. We are here to help you. We are here to support you. So we have HR support, we have talent acquisition and management, we have staff outsourcing, we have services like compensation and benefits management. We have employee engagement. We have training and development. Yes, if you want people who can help you train your employees, so that consult is also here to help you. We have events management. We have recruitment and executive search. And we even have ushering services, right? So the contact is on the flyer, as you can see. If you need any of these services, kindly reach out to SEDAT Consult, and they'll be there to sort you out. So thank you very much, our audience. If there's any question, please do not forget to put it in the comment section. And like I said, our speaker is here to speak to it for you, to make sure you understand, because like I said, we want to ensure that your 1 hour spent with us today on a Sunday evening when you should be resting, we want to make sure that that 1 hour you do not leave the same. Okay, so if you have any question, just put it in the chat box and we are going to read it as well. If you have any comments or any feedback, you can also share that as well. All right, Shamim, I hope you are there and can hear, can see me as well.
Yes, absolutely. Loud and clear.
Okay. All right. So you can hear me, right? Okay.
Yes.
So yeah. So since our audience are silent, I have another question for you. I hope I can go ahead.
Yes, please.
Okay, so with the rise of remote work, right? Because some employees always, okay, why don't you start thinking about we working from home, okay? Or some people just want to be in the house and work regardless of their location, you know. So with the rise of remote and then global teams, how do you see cross-cultural competence shaping the future of HR practices?
Okay, thank you very much, Mary. So, one thing is for sure, course culture competencies are going to be the cornerstone of all HR practices. This is the future in the making. We have to realize that organizations will eventually see the benefit of leveraging on technology as well as remote working opportunities to save costs even as a business. So, when we are looking at how best to ensure that the employees are working and we ensure that we can still ensure the productivity of the various persons who are employed, we'll look at leveraging on technology for inclusion. This applies to people who are working in global teams or persons who are unable to move due to mobility issues, but they still can perform. So, using digital tools to facilitate this cross cultural communication and collaboration could come in as a solution. That way, you ensure that the remote workers, people who are unable to physically be together, still feel valued and included. I'll give an example of myself because I have had the honor of working in a remote work environment. And I must say, the one thing that you'd have to ensure that you do is set pre scheduled meetings. You could have one on Monday mornings, once a week, to ensure that you get to understand what are the different targets that the various team players are going to be achieving, enable them to share their wins for the last week and the activities that they're going to do within the week. You could include a one-on-one by the end of the week to have a more personalized session with the various employees to see how are they doing, do they have any challenges, is there anything that needs to be addressed. So having pre-scheduled meetings can support in ensuring that I am still connected with you even if you're not physically here. You are working remotely, you are working from Accra, I'm in Kumasi, you're working from Uganda where I am, and you're all the way in Nigeria. So once we look at the various tools that we can be embedded within our work tools, I see that most people use Microsoft Teams, some people use Slack, some people use Google Meet and Google Chat to ensure that there is a flow. That most of the organizations allow for WhatsApp groups to be created to have everyone report in real time. One another strategy that we can include are the global HR policies. So once we develop policies that are flexible enough to accommodate different cultural contexts, we ensure that we embed all these diverse thoughts, diverse perspectives, and diverse requirements into the organizational consistency. That way, we can still ensure that people who are working remotely are still considered in all the aspects. I'll give an example of the experiences that I've had. We do know that employees are not required to work on public holidays, but there might be a target that we have. So if I'm required to have my entire team present for this week to ensure that we deliver something by the end of the week, I might have 2 or 3 employees who have public holidays within that week. If the policy clearly dictates that an employee is not required to be at work during the public holiday, as a leader, I will have to see how to work around that and ensure that the project is still completed within the required time, as long as I have put into consideration the various dynamics around the global teams and people working remotely. If we want to talk about how to increase that synergy, ensure that people are still working together, they're still motivated, they're still able to think about the goal and the end in mind. Previously, I mentioned team buildings, but even in a remote work setting, it's very easy to come up with virtual team building sessions. So there are quite a number of tools, especially AI tools, that can create let's say a poll or a quiz, and it could be centralized to the organizational objectives. You can make it a friendly competition. Which employee can tell us how they can implement the vision in their workspace or in their environment? And you see people thinking out of the box about how they can customize the organization vision to their setting, their remote setting, and ensure that it is still a transparent way to identify who wins. Some organizations even put it to a vote. They allow the employees themselves to vote. Who would you say is the most active employee? Who's the most engaged employee? And you get them to interact and stay motivated. So there are various virtual team building methodologies that can be included. And the purpose of this is to foster trust and collaboration across the board, across the organization, regardless of their cultures. And maybe lastly, I would talk about continuous learning, because we do have organizations that have learning management systems embedded in their plans, their training plans. That way, you have employees having a self-paced knowledge seeking journey. I'll give an example of the United Nations. I recently had a bystander and unconscious bias training that I delivered to some staff in the UN in Uganda. And I learned that they have actually had the SEA trainings and all these various trainings already as part of their LMS, their learning management system. That way, when you come to speak to them, let's say in a town hall meeting or on an organizational group call, you actually be sharing ideas, sharing scenarios. It won't be news to them, because they have had the ability or the flexibility to look out for the areas in which they have training needs. They have been able to pre-select them, watch them at their own pace. You could have someone listening to an audiobook on the way to work because they want to improve on a particular skill. So that way it gives them the control over how best that they can learn, and they can ensure that the cross-cultural competencies are still inclusive, and we are all learning at the same rate as an organization. Thank you very much, Mary.
We are so excited to have you join us. SEDAT HR Conference is going to be a transformative experience. We'll have various speakers who will be sharing on various topics to ensure that we bridge the gap, creating a workplace where everyone feels heard, valued, and supported. See you at the conference hall.
All right, thank you very much. So to our audience, I hope you saw the video for our conference. We are still inviting you. Please do well to register. Okay, so we have some comments and I would want to read. So we have Lauricia. She says she's joining from Kumasi. Hello, Kumerika. Thank you for joining us. Please, if you have any question, please put it in the comment section. And guest is here to help you understand things better. She's here to address it for you as well. Put in your comment as or question as she tries to address them for you. Okay, so Shamim, thank you very much. That was amazing. For me, one thing that I took from your submission, the earlier one, was continuous learning. So, as an individual, at every point in time, you need to learn something, at least for yourself, to understand things better, especially in terms of culture, and to be able to relate with people in the workplace better. You can only do that when you are aware, and you can't have some sort of awareness if you are clueless, and that can happen if you keep learning. So thank you very much, that was amazing. All right, I'm not seeing any comments or any question in the comment section. So for any leader, any manager, any HR, or any professional listening to us, what is one advice you will give to anybody, whether in the workplace, in their career? Just one advice you give to somebody listening to us this afternoon. Hi, Shamim, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, sorry about that. I thought the question was for the audience. All right. So, one thing I can say is that the future of work belongs to those who understand the power of diversity and inclusion. Let's all just try our best to commit to be leaders that not only recognize but also celebrate the strengths that come from diverse backgrounds and experiences. And I am walking this journey practically because I started an initiative called Utopia, and it's really centered around diversity, unity, as well as productivity. And one thing I've noticed that across my various travels, the speaking engagements that I've been privileged to be invited to, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from you, Mary, and I've learned a lot from the participants that have joined the call even today. And one thing is for sure, if I look out for people, if I attend the conference and I gain all the knowledge that I'm sure I will gain, thanks to the SEDAT HR team, I'm sure that I can easily apply it. So, what if we use these opportunities to get people with diverse mindsets, diverse knowledge, and put them all together in one place? One thing is for sure, unity isn't about being the same. It's about embracing differences, finding common ground, and that is where the richness of this world lies. We have to understand that culture cannot be ignored. Everyone comes from a particular culture, they have their thoughts, they have their mindsets, and basically, culture would be defined as the rhythm of someone's soul. So, understanding it ensures that you will harmonize not only your workplace but the world at large. So, as I conclude, in a world where boundaries are now a blur, they're literally just lines, imaginary lines, and they don't define us. So, understanding each other becomes that bridge to us being united. Thank you very much.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so, so much. So, understanding that bridge makes us united. Thank you so much. That's right on point. Thank you, our audience, for joining us this evening. If you didn't take anything, remember Shamim shared with us to always keep learning. And of course, the acronym I did for us, I hope you haven't forgotten, right? So MCPT, MCPT, mediation for M, C for cultural awareness, P for policy, and then T is for training and development. So if you didn't take anything, remember these are some of the things our guests shared with us this afternoon. So thank you all for joining our session today, and thank you, Shamim, for sharing your insight with us. Honestly, it has really been insightful. Okay, and I know it wasn't just the audience. Personally, I have learned a lot this afternoon, so thank you very much. And to our audience, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate your 1 hour spent with us today. Until next time, we want to encourage each one of you to stay learning. And remember, we meet every Sunday at 4 p.m. Until we meet again, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
We are so excited to have you join us. SEDAT HR Conference is going to be a transformative experience. We'll have various speakers who will be sharing on various topics to ensure that we bridge the gap, creating a workplace where everyone feels heard, valued, and supported. See you at the conference hall. Thank you.